Hey, what's up everyone, it's Arta from Arta Does Tech Stuff, and today we've got a fun little project on our hands. So here's the deal. I've been scrolling through eBay for days, like literal days, trying to find the cheapest computer I could possibly buy. I'm talking about the kind of PC that's probably older than some of you watching, but it's dirt cheap. And that's exactly what I need for this project. After what felt like an eternity of scrolling through listings, I finally found it. The perfect candidate. An old desktop missing a graphics card and a hard drive. It was exactly what I was looking for. Dirt cheap and just broken enough that I could learn how to fix it. And only £20. You know, I had to snatch that. Here's what we're working with. An Intel Core i5 3340, 8GB of DDR3 RAM, and a 280 watt power supply. No GPU, just that sweet integrated graphics. Surprisingly, it could hold its own in Roblox at a stable, okay-ish 30 FPS, but BeamNG, yeah, it turned into a slideshow real fast. If you ever wondered what it feels like to drive through syrup, BeamNG has you covered. I also tried running 3DMark to benchmark the system, but guess what? It didn't even want to load. The program literally just refused to run the integrated graphics. Not a good start. And then there's CSGO 2. I tried launching it, but instead of loading into the game, I got stuck in the main menu with just the update log, no background, no gameplay, just the UI. So yeah, definitely not gaming material with integrated graphics. This little machine has potential, but it needs a boost. So the Intel SSD arrived in what can only be described as leftover tinfoil from someone's lunch. Either way, it works, so I'm not complaining. For just £5, I swapped out the CPU for an i5 3570K. But then the real fun began. Turns out formatting a new drive is rocket science when you miss the massive button that says create new simple volume. I spent ages trying to figure out why Windows wouldn't recognize the SSD, only to discover that button sitting there and mocking me. Once I figured out that cloning the SSD took forever, before cloning, I tore apart my main PC looking for a spare cable after an hour of pure chaos. It finally hit me. Why not just borrow the SATA cable from the office PC? Genius, right? If only I thought of that earlier, instead of wasting half of my life. I think I aged at least 5 years waiting for that progress bar to move. At this rate, I might have been better off writing the code for Windows by hand. And as if that wasn't enough, this motherboard has 2 SATA ports. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. I spent 30 minutes trying to find the second port, which was literally right in front of me. Then I realized I don't have a spare SATA cable to plug both the SSD and the hard drive in. At that point, I just gave up and decided to roll with the SSD alone. But hey, after all that, the SSD was in, and the system felt like it discovered turbo mode, fast boots, snappy apps, and an OS that didn't feel like it was stuck in 2010. Totally worth the struggle. Probably. So now I finally decided to stop living in the Stone Age, and I bought this set of 3 SATA cables. Why 3? Well, it's always good to have extras, for when I inevitably lose one in the depths of my cable drawer. Now I can run my SSD and hard drive at the same time. Revolutionary. I know, no more swapping cables like it's some kind of medieval bartering system. It still had integrated graphics, but the difference was night and day. BeamNG went from a painful slideshow of 10 FPS to a smooth, playable 50 to 60 FPS. It's like I unlocked a hidden mode where the game actually works. Even 3DMark, which previously didn't want to load, actually ran the benchmark this time. The score? Higher than most similar systems. A small victory, but victory nonetheless. CSGO 2? Well, it launched, which is more than I can say for before. But connecting to a server? Not today. Even on the lowest resolution, it just wasn't happening. The Roblox, on the other hand, didn't show a huge difference, but a few things felt a tad smoother. Every frame counts, right? And let's not forget about the thermal paste. Before, the CPU was idling at a toasty 50 degrees. Now, a cool 30. It's practically chilling in the fridge. Finally, Half-Life 2. Smooth, very smooth. Honestly, this is some kind of performance I'd expect from a much pricier system. So after these upgrades, this humble little office PC is shaping up to be a budget powerhouse. All this for less than £50 in upgrades. Not bad at all. I am going to case swap this thing. So I modified the CPU cooler a bit and took off the metal mesh thing. I think it looks quite ugly, and without it, it looks way better than before. So I was planning to use a 750 Ti, but my power supply wasn't powerful enough, and in the end I just returned the 750 Ti and got a GTX 960 instead. But I did buy a case for this thing on eBay for £26. I thought it was a good deal, and I thought it had the tempered glass side panels and 3 ARGB fans, but I bought the wrong one, so I returned that and bought the tempered glass one with the 3 ARGB fans, and it came a couple days later, so now we've got this thing. And so I'm gonna open it now. Got this for around £34 off of Amazon. Looks pretty nice. And now just turn it over. Okay, so the glass panel is there. It's pretty compact and small, but it's got 3 RGB fans. It's white and it has a tempered glass side panel. This is a pretty good deal. The quality might not be the best, but still I got 3 RGB fans, ARGB fans, glass side panel, and it's white. Got everything someone wants when buying a gaming PC. Except it's a micro ATX. So the front actually looks pretty good. We've got the PCU shroud there, 2 fans on the top and 1 on the side. Pretty happy with this. Still waiting for the motherboard and power supply to arrive so I can actually test out this thing. I quite like this case, but there's just one thing in this case, like, not that good. The cable management, like, there's no place you can put the cables into, but I think, yeah, the PCU shroud has, like, these holes I can, like, store the cables inside, so it isn't that bad. A few vents, don't see any air filters or anything, so this might dust up a bit. What about the top? Yeah, I don't see any. There's a bag of screws down there where the power supply goes, as you can see in the corner. So I guess this is how you take the front panel off. I mean side panel. For this price, I'm actually kind of impressed. I'm gonna add this GTX 960 to the build. I think it'll look pretty decent in the build. It is black, but it does fill up the whole case. Pretty hefty GPU. I'm gonna test it out later. So the power supply and the motherboard should come either today or tomorrow. This case should have arrived like tomorrow, but for some reason it came early, which is actually, I'm not gonna complain about that, but I still need the power supply and motherboard, as power supply should fit in here. There is quite a lot of cables in there already. After I sell this, maybe with the profit I'll try build another PC and buy maybe a GoPro 7 to actually make the videos look good. I'm taking the CPU cooler off, the CPU and RAM, and putting it into the system I'm building. Yeah, I don't know where the hard drive is supposed to go. Maybe like with the power supply into here. Not really sure. There somewhere. The power supply I bought only has 2 PCIe connectors, and I needed 2 6-pin connectors. So we've got a 1 female 6-pin to 2 males. So I'm just gonna wait for the rest of the parts to arrive, and I'll see you there. Yes! Still waiting for the power supply, but we add the motherboard, so we can actually try fit it into the case. And it came in just bubble wrap, so like no anti-static bag or anything, just bubble wrap. So I hope this works. I didn't show the IO shield on the listing, so I was kind of like risking it, but thankfully it came. So I'm gonna get all this stuff out of the way and we can start assembling it slowly. So it looks right now pretty good, not gonna lie. Screw this. Goes around. Here we've got, oh, some zip ties. So I'm not sure how these cables work. I'm gonna have to take this out. Yep.
got a 6-pin to dual 6-pin. We've got the SATA cables. Second one, a second stick. So this is 8 GB in total of DDR3 RAM. Don't think this one's out yet, and then this one. Yep, okay, they're all out. Oh, was a bit aggressive. Clean this bit off. Looks like blue tack. Oh, shouldn't have done that. And move it away. So, I've got this motherboard now. It's a Gigabyte H61MS2PB3. Haven't got the power supply to power it on yet, but we're gonna try install the CPU and put the motherboard in the case, so you have an idea of how it will all look like. This way. Yeah. Right, it's not wobbling around. Oh! Does this have a backlight? No. Please. Okay. I think we'll be fine if we just take it off this one. Nothing's gonna be holding up this CPU thing. Just take these out now. Not that big of a deal. No, this isn't really stuck on, so let's try to get this off. Oh. Have to take CPU out. Okay. And we're gonna screw it in. We've got them in. So now we can actually put the CPU cooler in after we put the CPU back in. Yep, this way. Please actually go in this time though. Okay. Got it positioned, and now we get this. Put the bit in. And screw this in. It took longer than expected, but yeah. Okay, got that in. Looks pretty okay. Now let's put the RAM sticks inside. So let me get the IO shield. Yeah, I think I've got it in. Don't know what F audio is for, but got power LED plus, power SW and SW.
So I did some off-camera work and managed to get the cables all looking nice and hidden, and I found out where I'm supposed to put the SSD and hard drive. Also put the graphics card in, and the PC looks so much better with good cable management. I also got a bit of electrical tape and wrapped a bit around the 6-pin to dual 6-pin adapter to make it fit in with the build instead of being just yellow. So I did paint the CPU cooler white later, and these are some of the photos I took for the listing on Facebook Marketplace. I did record some benchmarks at the end, and I did change out the CPU to a 2400 i5 as the 3570K wasn't compatible with my motherboard. And on the Uniheaven benchmark, I got around 152.6 FPS, which is actually not bad. So this is the end of the video. It took me around 2 months to put this video together. If you enjoyed it, like, maybe subscribe and comment if you want. See you next time.